Hi, this is nurse practitioner and attorney Joe Flores, and thank you again for joining us on Nurse Practitioner Television. Remember, this doesn't constitute legal advice, but we've got allies, the law firms and friends of mine throughout every state. If I can't help you, we'll get somebody who will. I'm also licensed in federal court and can appear in any court in the land. And I have appeared in several other venues and helped and consulted people throughout the nation. And I'm speaking for the National Council of State Board of Nurses, so I'm really excited about that, and I've done that for several years. I've really enjoyed it. But the topic I want to talk about on this particular episode is legal nurse consulting. For years, people have asked me, Joe, why don't you do a course on legal nurse consulting? Some of those courses out there are way cost prohibitive, and I said, sure, why not? So I wrote a book. I'm going to publish it here pretty soon. I've just been having a lot going on, but really I learned along the way. First of all, I want to say AALNC, or the American Association for Legal Nurse Consultants, based out of Illinois, great organization. I think they are fantastic. I think that the course book and the certification is amazing. You don't have to be certified per se to be a legal nurse consultant, number one, but I would recommend you look into the test, certainly. But let me tell you, a lot of those courses out there are very cost prohibitive. In the next couple of minutes, I just want to lay the groundwork and tell you, I wrote a course after high demand from hundreds of nurses who said, Joe, I paid thousands of dollars and I couldn't even find a job with an attorney. So let me break it down for you. I started as a legal nurse consultant out of my apartment. I took a $200 course and just said to myself, oh, you know how I got into it? A friend of mine was a secretary at a lawyer's office, and he said, hey, you're a nurse. Come on in here, Joe. This doctor wants $10,000 to review this case, and it was a nursing home case back in the heyday before tort reform here in Texas, and said, find the smoking gun. Find how they didn't treat this patient and why and all this. And I said, let me look at the records. So the next 15, 20 minutes, I looked through a banker's box, and sure enough, I found out prealbumin levels and everything else on the person. Their nutritional deficit was just terrible. The person had lost all this weight, got pressure ulcers, and had died from sepsis. So I went and showed him, and I said, look at the lab, prealbumin, and they're saying that they ate 100% a day. That's fraud. So he said, thanks a lot, Joe. And I was about 23 at the time when dinosaurs walked the earth. And so I went home. About 2 weeks later in the mail, I got a check for $2,500. Well, that was more than I took home in 2 weeks back then. So I call up the attorney, being the nurse in me. I said, man, if we steal a stick of gum, we're going to lose our license. I called him up and I said, sir, you sent me a check for $2,500. That's more than I make in 2 weeks, I must tell you, take home. And there must be a mistake. He goes, no, sir. The mistake, there's none. I settled a case for over $1 million. And you saved me money. I showed the expert what you had written up very quickly, and he went rapidly. It saved me thousands. And then we settled the case before he even went to court. I was hooked on LNC, doing and reviewing records. I started my own business, and it also went into nurse practitioner school, but in the back of my mind, I always wanted to be a lawyer. So I kept reviewing records, did some expert review of records by myself. I learned along the way how to do chronologies, narratives, and I've enjoyed it, and I still to this day review my own records. So 3 points that I want to get across. What I'm getting to in my story is, one, don't quit your day job. There are promises you're going to make $100, $200 an hour as an LNC. That's the exception, not the rule. Two, there are exciting careers out there to be a legal nurse consultant, but very few do it full time. Most nurses will review things, and lawyers. I know lawyers because I work with them all the time. I work with some of the best attorneys in Texas and in the nation, and they like nurses that have a lot of clinical experience and know how to read records and know how to find the quote-unquote smoking gun, whether for the defense side or the plaintiff side in civil litigation. Also, sexual assault nurse examiners are in high demand. Working for insurance is in high demand. So there are jobs out there. But again, I am not going to promise you, if you took or read my book or my course or got some continuing education from it, that you're going to make over $100 an hour, because that wouldn't be true. I don't want to mislead anybody. I would say that in my experience and training as an attorney for 15 years, as an advanced practice nurse for over 18, and as a nurse for over 25 years, reviewing records and being a legal nurse consultant, that you can make a decent living at it, and it's exciting working with attorneys. But many people, nurses, don't know what attorneys do and what practice they do. So they send out letters and say, I'll review records for you. Well, a guy who's doing wills says, well, I don't do medical malpractice or personal injury, sorry, you know. So you have to like kind of diamond bullet your marketing. And part of the book that I wrote, you know, to let you all know about that, and the course book is cheap, under 300 bucks. You know, you can take it, and what do you have to lose, you know? Number one, you'll learn more about the legal system. 2, it's eligible for continuing education. And 3, you look at the inner workings. Most nurses I know are fascinated by the legal system, and I've been doing this for a long time. I defend nurses, whistleblowers, False Claims Act cases where nurses know where the bodies are buried, where there is healthcare fraud going on. So I enjoy what I do, but I wanted to let you all know in this particular episode of Nurse Practitioner Television about the real nuts and bolts of legal nurse consulting. Remember, don't quit your day job. 2, there are opportunities. And 3, watch the bottom line. All of us work hard for our living. We don't want to spend thousands of dollars on a course, and then we'll never get that money back. So I wanted to put that out there, give you some information. If you want more information, you can contact me, Joe, at floreslawfirm.com. That's Joe at floreslawfirm.com, or 361-887-8670. Or if you just want to consult, I can help. And in your particular state, we've got allies throughout the United States with law firms that do healthcare law, that represent nurses. And so we're making a revolution here through Nurse Practitioner Television. We're creating a lot of excitement. And again, legal nurse consulting is a great field. Whether you use it or not, whether you make $100, and you may make $100, $200, $300 as an expert witness, but again, that's the exception to the rule. But you can make a living at it. You just have to really market it or get a job with some attorneys. So this is Joe Flores signing off. If you have any questions or concerns or input, I'm always here for you. And thank you all my brothers and sisters out there that are nurses and nurse practitioners. Thank you and God bless.